my laptop, but the screen just wouldn't stop loading. I couldn't get it to actually let me be live. It just kept loading forever, and I wouldn't actually start the live. It never started, so I decided to do this on my phone instead. That's why I'm a little late, but hello everyone, happy last day of Pride Month. I have a very sloppy, paint, paint on my nails, and flies keep buzzing around, trying to get in my hair. My hair isn't dirty, I washed it, like, yesterday afternoon, and in my opinion, your hair is not really dirty the day after you wash it, like, that's fine, your hair is still clean by then. I usually wash my hair every other day. There's no reason why the flies should be getting in my hair. They just want to piss me off. I'm not a health hazard, you know? I've just got products in my hair and a little bit of natural oil, but other than that, like, it's normal ass hair. Those are normal things for your hair to contain. There's no reason why the flies should be trying to get in my hair. They just want to piss me off. But, you know, I've got like my painted nails. This is the gender fluid colors. Trans colors. They're very sloppy because I literally just finished painting them about an hour ago, so they're like, you know, the paint is dry, but there's like just there's that excess around the edges that kind of it stays there until like a day or two after you've painted them. By the way, no one's here yet. There's 0 people right now, so I'm just talking to myself, but that's okay because this will be in the video when I upload it later. Now there's 2 people. That's cool. I hope that the chat will show up. Yeah, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So it looks like there will be people, or, well, there will be a chat when people show up. 2 people just left. There were 2 people, now there's no people, so we're back to 0. I'm gonna show my Pride, colors that I'm wearing right now at the moment, besides my nails, which have trans colors, gender fluid colors. So, we've got the NB bracelets. I got these as a 3-pack at Hot Topic, and, you know, I'm non-binary. That's how I like people to see me first, before all the other, like, micro-labels. I mostly just want to be seen as an NB, you know? So, oh, Alyssa Chapman says incredible. What's incredible, Alyssa? Just my bracelets? Come on. Come on, incredible. They're just some little Hot Topic bracelets. Is that what you mean, or just... Anyway, no matter what, that's very kind of you, but I'm curious exactly what you mean by incredible, you know? You're incredible, you know? You always show up. You always show up. You're very reliable. I've got this rainbow bullet bracelet. It's not meant to be taken literally, you know. The bullets are symbolic. I don't actually support like gun violence and shit. And then I've got my Buy Dinosaur bracelet that my friend Bucky made for me. Sweet Bucky. I haven't talked to them in a while. It's a shame because we were very good friends. I could talk to them on Discord. I should probably do that. Alyssa Chapman says, I think they're pretty cool. You're incredible in general, Sid. Well, thank you, Alyssa. I try. I do like to, do the right thing and try to have fun and make sure everybody's comfortable, you know? That's the best I can do, I guess. I just wanna, you know, try to keep the world, as good of a place as it can be, you know? Because goodness knows there's a lot standing in between that, and I don't want to be a part of any kind of problem, and, you know, not even just in a political context, but in most contexts. I think everyone deserves to be happy and have a good time, so, yeah, I don't know. To me, it just seems like the bare minimum, but, anyway. It's nice, though, Alyssa. I do appreciate your kind words. You're incredible, too. Alyssa says, that's a respectable pursuit. Well, thank you, you know? I try. I mean, it's not like I'm always the best at it. I've certainly made mistakes in my life, but, I guess you learn from them. Tasp says, you could think of the rainbow bullets like the modern version of Cupid's arrows. A Cupid is not a bringer of war but of love, even though arrows are usually used to injure and kill. Exactly. It kind of represents the way that love can just hit you. It almost feels like, it can almost feel kind of painful. I mean, love can be very painful, in fact, especially if, like, you're afraid that it won't be reciprocated or, anything like that. Love just happens to you. And, yeah, it's a beautiful thing and a painful thing all at once, and that's why I think it's so poetic that there are, like, love weapons, like the love arrows and the bullets and stuff. Like, there's some profundity in that, I guess. I just spat, like, I hate it when I talk and then spit comes out of my mouth. That's so embarrassing. I feel gross. But anyway, but you get what I'm saying, right? You get what I'm saying about the metaphors and the poetry of it all. I've got a rainbow fist pin. I'm going back to my little pride things. I've got rainbow fist pin, gender fluid pin, rainbow choker, and I also have, rainbow socks. Yay! Don't be weird about my feet. I trust you guys not to be weird about my feet. Sometimes people are. I just like to show socks and shoes because I like fashion. But that's the thing. I mean, any part of my body. If I show off my clothes, people make funny comments sometimes. But most people are respectable, especially on YouTube. But on other websites like Discord and Reddit, I'll post, like, pictures of my outfits and people can make... I mean, the trolls and the weirdos, they'll usually just do one of two things. They'll, like, infantilize me or sexualize me. It's like one or the other, And those things both bother me. I'm just a young adult who's not wishing to be disrespected in either way. I just, I'm just showing my clothes and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining, though. Oh, Silly says hi! Hello, Silly! And Alyssa Chapman says, I need more whimsical socks. You should get more whimsical socks, Alyssa! They're a delight. They make you happy. They make me happy. I love whimsical socks. They feel so nice and just so fun, a sort of underrated garment. Socks are lovely. Yeah. And hello, Silly. I know I already said hello to you, but it was nice that you said hi. It's, I guess, can I do an emote, or are those only for other people? I don't know how to do this. Well, whatever. It's not a big deal. I said it out loud already. Alyssa Chapman says, mine are all gray, unfortunately. That's too bad, Alyssa! You should get some colorful socks. I've got a few pairs of colorful socks. I've got some generic ones, too, but I've also got, these whimsical sorts of ones with colors. Alyssa Chapman said hi. Well, hello, Alyssa. I still don't know how to do it myself. Is it like this little retouch? Oh, that makes me look different. I don't like that. Sometimes I use filters on my photos, but not so much to, like, beautify or hide blemishes or whatever. It's more like I just use weird color filters and, like, shit like that. Like, that makes it look trippy and weird. Doesn't really, like, make me look naturally beautiful-er. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people use filters to, like, hide their imperfections or whatever. I just do it to make the room look green and purple and, like, have, like, electricity around the edges and sparkles everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? I do it. That's the Glitterpunk edits. So far, we haven't talked a lot about Pride, but I don't know if everybody here is out. Like, I understand that some people, they're not out, or they're not queer themselves, but, that is the point of the stream, so just remember that. I mean, we could talk about what we've done during Pride, but I've already talked about that. I've made videos about that. I did go to a parade, I did go to a Pride Fest, and I hung out with my friends. I've also been to many drag shows recently, and that's been delightful. I even uploaded them. Alyssa Chapman says, it's more fun to make strange things. It's more fun to make things strange. Yes, Alyssa, I absolutely agree. I think instead of, like, editing yourself to like kind of conform to the beauty expectations. It's more fun to just like kind of break the rules and break the mold. That's just me though. And I guess sometimes what's considered weird can also have its own kind of um there's still patterns, I guess. Like I still do take inspiration from other people or other sources, I guess. I mean, so there's still a level of adherence, but it's just, I guess it's got different connotations, and there's a different feeling to it as well. Like weirdness has a feeling, does it not? It does, and it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable feeling. Alyssa Chapman says, "I am out to half of my family." That's nice, Alyssa. Uh, I, you're, I remember you're a trans girl. That's cool. That's very cool. I love everybody in the trans community. I love everybody in the LGBTQ plus community. As long as you're a cool person and everything, I just think we're all welcome here, and it's like lovely to meet people. Silly says, "Happy Pride. I'm also out. Trans mask." Oh, that's fantastic. Wow. I think I kind of fit under the umbrella because I have aspirations to transition. Like I want to go on T, and I want to get top surgery. This is something that I've wanted for many, many, many years. I've wanted both of those things ever since I identified that I experienced dysphoria, cuz I had dysphoria before I even realized it, and the types of goals that I want in regards to transition are masculinizing. So that's why I feel like I could fall under the umbrella, even though I do partake in feminine aesthetics and use she, her amongst my pronouns, because I'm gender fluid. But I want to have a more androgynous appearance and voice, so that's my thing. And that's why I feel like I might qualify under the trans masc label, since my gender goals are masculinizing. But anyway, I know that not everybody's comfortable sharing stuff that's that personal, but I feel good talking about it, because it's like, I think some people might think I'm just someone who's going through a phase. Like, they see me with all of my colorful merch, and they just think, oh, you're just someone who likes the little colors, the buttons, the pins and things. But it's just like, at this point, it's kind of just the easiest way to show that I'm a part of the community, because otherwise, I don't know, I feel like I don't know if it's, I literally think it's not easy to tell that I'm trans, because when I go out, I get misgendered a lot. But maybe some people just don't know, and other people don't really want to like find out. Some people don't want to know. Some people, they'll probably get vibes, but they'll be like, I'm not gonna ask, because that's dark-sided. That's dark-sided. You're going to hell. And I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. I'm not going to hell. I don't believe in the afterlife. That's okay if other people do. It's okay if you yourself believe in the afterlife, or if you have a religion or a spirituality. I say I have a little bit of spirituality, but not in the sense of like being beyond science. I just think I have a rich inner world that is kind of quasi-spiritual, but I still fully identify as atheist personally. Alyssa Chapman says, "Some people just suck and will not respect people." Facts, Alyssa, facts. And that is not just Christians, it is not just people in the South, that is something that happens worldwide. But I will say, being someone from the Deep South, gosh, there sure are a lot of people that fit that exact stereotype. But there's other folks too. You never really know. I mean, you never really know. Some people just kind of, they harbor these beliefs that don't really come up until they meet someone like me, who it's like, it's kind of all in their face. Like, I'm all in their face. I'm like, yeah, and then you find out like who's really chill and who's not. And it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I I love everyone who's shown up. I can see that there's eight visitors now. I'm so glad that you guys showed up. Um, I've been so happy about my name change progress recently, and I'll probably go to the DMV sometime in the next few days if I don't get any if I don't get any immediate plans to go somewhere for like job related reasons, because like the thing is, I just made some phone calls, and it's another thing where it's like being delayed and put off because there was this specific person I was trying to call from a specific restaurant so I could try to get a job there, but she wasn't working today. So I'm gonna call tomorrow because that's when she's working. Anyway, that's all to say, there's like other things going on in my life, but I am still very eager to go to the DMV, get my new ID, so that I can progress in like my self-actualization, you know? That's the glory of transition, is you get to really like feel real, you know, and not just be like an idea in your head. You get to like achieve, you know, a very desirable goal, you know. Yeah. I feel like, and but back to what I was saying about being transmasc. I mean, I feel like some people might not accept me, but there are like, you know, within the transmasc community specifically, or like allow me to take up that label, because I do have some very feminine presentations at times, but you know, I feel like once I do transition, I'm probably gonna dress and style myself similarly, like about the same, but I'm probably just gonna show more skin, you know? Like, cause I'll feel more comfortable in my body. That's the thing. Like, once I've gotten on hormones, and especially once I've gotten top surgery, which will probably come afterwards, I will feel fantastic in my body, and I'll probably show more skin because I'll be more comfortable with that. And that's something I look forward to, because I'm sick of all the fucking layers all the time. I'm sick of being like overheated and sweaty and everything, and smelly as a result. Like, oh my god. But I know that tea makes you smelly, so maybe I'm just destined for a life of smelliness, but that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, there are worse things. There are worse things. And I'm not that stinky, I think. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Like, how would I know? I'm probably used to it. Whatever. Whatever, dude. I do my best. I have been putting on deodorant more often. And every time I go out, I put on deodorant. Yay, the good things. The good things, yay. um... Is there anybody in the audience who has already like undergone any kind of medical transition? You know what? I don't know if I should ask that because I know it's personal. So yeah, it's okay if people don't want to share. Mind you, if I ask a personal question and you don't want to share, you do not have to. This is a safe space, and that means privacy is allowed. Alyssa Chapman says there will always be a smell price to pay. Yes, I get your little pun there. I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Alyssa. Silly. Oh, that's a different user, though. Silly, you're different from Alyssa. You're a different person. Anyway, Wendigo says, Sup, just wondering, do you identify with anarchism in any way? Absolutely, Wendigo. That's in my bio on my YouTube channel. I know that doesn't show up as often now, like, when I started YouTube about 3 years ago, the layout was different, and you could always see people's bios when you went to their homepage, but now it's something where you have to click for it to unfold. Anyway, it's hidden away, you know? But anyway, yes, I do identify with anarchism. Yes, I do. I am an anarchist. I must admit, I haven't really done much reading on it. It's more just something that I learned from, you know, in all fairness, very informative people on the internet, but still, I guess I have a kind of basic perspective on anarchy, but it does seem good. Like, I understand that it's not just about no rules and chaos and violence. That's kind of like the sensationalized version of anarchy. It's more about, like, an agreed-upon kind of thing where everybody has an equal say in the rules and the governance of their area, and, you know, they can vote directly instead of having a representative democracy where they vote on someone else to decide the rules for them. You know, I think that's not as efficient, And, you know, I think that living in a stateless, moneyless society would also be fantastic, so I agree with that. And there would still be people to handle, like, the you know, really bad criminals, like, you know, murderers and S offenders, you know, stuff like that. Um, so, yeah, like, I it wouldn't be like the chaos crazy world that some people think it is. So in other words, yes, I identify as an anarchist and I understand some of the basics of how it would work. I'm not like a super anarchy expert, but it seems like the system that I agree with the most, and I think it seems very, you know, very underrated in all honesty. I think it gets a bad rep. Even like songs like Anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols, I have mixed feelings about it because it goes hard. Like, oh my god, it's a really good song, and it's like I feel it. I feel the vibes. I feel the rebellious energy because there is something truly rebellious about identifying with anarchy and like believing in anarchy. But at the same time, it does seem to portray anarchy as being kind of like that exact sensational stereotype: chaos, violence, destructive. You know, that's not really what anarchy is, and it's no surprise that now Johnny Rotten isn't an anarchist, and in fact never really was. He was kind of just using it to like boost himself as a punk. But you know, he like now he's like kissing the queen's ass, or at least he was back when she was alive, and like saying that gay people shouldn't raise kids. He did say that like kids just need parents of two different genders, and they can't have parents who have the same gender. And I guess I don't know what I think he was also endorsing Trump. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. You hate to see it. So I'm gonna read the chat now. I haven't read the chat in a little bit. Wendigo says, Coolio, I'm the guy who posted the light-skinned stare meme on your looking video, by the way. I think I also talked to you a bit on Discord. Okay, I don't really know what the light-skinned stare meme is. I'm sorry, I don't really recognize that. Alyssa Chapman says, anarchism is so cool. Thank you, Alyssa. I agree. Are you an anarchist, or, like, I mean, it's okay if you don't feel, like, informed enough to claim that, but, if you already identify as an anarchist, that's awesome, you know? Wendigo says, yes, that a banger, and then Wendigo says, bro was a poser, TBH, and a shill. Facts! Like, these things can be true, these multiple things can be true at once. Like, I am a fan of I guess I could kind of say I'm a fan of the Sex Pistols. I mean, they are a punk band that I enjoy, but like, any self-respecting punk can tell you that the Sex Pistols have, like, you know, terrible issues. All of them. Horrible. Sid Vicious killed someone. He killed his girlfriend. And cats. He had a habit of killing cats. He at least killed one cat, but I think some rumors say that he killed, like, more than one. So there's that. I'm sorry that the stream had to have dark topics and I didn't warn anyone about them, but the Sex Pistols came up and they're just bad guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, Alyssa Chapman says, yes I am, in regards to the anarchy question. Great to hear. Fantastic. Alyssa Chapman says, I got very into a year or two ago. Alyssa, when you say you got very into, do you mean very into, the Sex Pistols or very into anarchy? Or anarchism? Because I'll need a little clarification on that. Wendigo says, yeah, they were in the problematic era of punk. For sure, man. I mean, the problematic era is not something that has ended. Like, I mean, if you've been on certain subreddits, I guess, I hate it, but it's true. I've gone on these little punk subreddits, and there's some really toxic people there, you know? I think there were times where I was toxic on the subreddit too, but not in the same way. I wasn't, like, hating on other people. It was more like I was oversharing about, issues, you know? Trauma dumping and shit like that. And, so that is in a way a form of toxicity. because I was using my anonymity to like benefit me, you know, and shocking people without any regard for their emotional response. So that is toxicity, I think. But I wasn't telling people to, you know, themselves and like, you know, telling them that they're disgusting and that their proportions disgust me and their house is hideous and they're hideous, you know, the way that they were saying these things about me, like very, very rude personal things. Anyway, I'm gonna read these comments. So Alyssa Chapman says, into anarchism. That's fantastic, Alyssa. Oh wait, I missed one. Tasp says, I like representative democracy. When the population votes directly on issues, then sometimes they don't grasp the consequences. Like in Britain, where people believed lies and voted to leave the EU. I think you're right, but I guess in an anarchist society, we would have, like, more opportunities to teach people about policies, because I think that would be a practical way to solve that issue. Like, the average person would have a lot more, resources available to them to learn about the policies that they would vote for than we have in our current society. You know, they would be more well-informed, and I admit, I'm not really sure how we would go about that, but I think that could be done, you know, like there could be, I don't know, if you make it, like, if you do that in a more controlled way, that would be like recreating a government, so, and that's exactly what you don't want. So I guess it's just, you make a good point. I still think there's a way we could solve that issue, but I don't really have any proof, from my personal imagination. But you have a good point, and I do think that Brexit was really stupid. Silly says, I love hearing about punk-related stuff, it's super interesting. And Alyssa Chapman says, I have not engaged with the Sex Pistols. I thought you were gonna say I have not engaged in sex, and I'm like, oh, okay. Coming out as a virgin, that's a new one. That's a first. Pun intended, but so funny. Anyway. Porcelain Ghoul says, hi, I'm in your house. Hello, Porcelain Ghoul, that's my sister. Hello, Cleo. How are you? I saw your message before I read it, but I didn't acknowledge you yet. You had to wait in suspense. Mr. Llama says, hi there. Hello there. Hello where? Here? Here, I suppose. Hello. It's so nice to see you, Porcelain Llama, to see your profile pic. You know, I realize this now. I never really thought about what Mr. Llama's profile pic is. It kind of just looks white and blue. Kind of blue and white. Mr. Llama, if I may ask, what is your profile pic? Like, what's the image? Is it a llama? Because that's what your name is. It's the sky. Oh, that makes sense! That's why it's blue and white. It's the sky. You know, man, that's genius. You're a genius, you know that? Profile pic, sky, of course. Blue and white, sky. I understand now. Mr. Llama says, thank you. You're welcome. The sky is nice. I'm looking at it right now. It looks nice. That's, if you're looking out my window, you can see it's got some old drawings from my childhood. Did you see the sky, though? Did you see the sky? I hope so. Yeah. There's some old drawings from my childhood on the window, because I had like window crayons that my dad gave me when I was a little kid. So, it's still on the window because it's not really easy to wash off. Alyssa Chapman says, we have seen the sky. Well, that's nice, you know? It's because I just showed it to you, isn't it? You hadn't seen it before then. You'd never seen it before then. I've got a little thing of almonds. I'm having a light snack because before I did the stream, I drank some caffeine so I would have that peppy energy, you know? That peppy energy that I like to have. But, it made me a little sick in my tummy space. I didn't throw up, but I just felt like a little bit bleh, so. Now I'm having almonds. Just a little light snack to kind of settle my tummy. It's important, you know. Mr. Llama says, speaking of the sky, there's a band I listen to called Air, an electronic band from France. That's wonderful. I like hearing about people's interests. So, how did you, like, find out about them, and, what's the feeling with their energy? Like, what's the main kind of themes and feelings that their music produces, you know, for you? Like, what kind of emotional states? Alyssa Chapman says, it seems mysterious. What do you mean by that? What is it? I actually kind of forget. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. What seems mysterious? David's Entertainment says, hi, David here. Hello, David. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. It's me, Sid. Porcelain Ghoul says, I didn't know we had almonds. Well, Poppy brought them home. He went to the store. So that's why we got almonds. For the uninitiated folks in the audience. That's a fancy way of saying audience. Me and Cleo, our dad is called Poppy. Sometimes she calls him Dad, which is fucking crazy. I only call him Poppy. He is never Dad to me. He is only Poppy, just as my mom is only Mambo. I had a brief phase when I was a kid where I tried to call my parents Mom and Dad, or I think I tried to call them by their first names even. Because I wanted to fit in and I didn't want to seem like a weirdo freak who calls their parents Mambo and Poppy. Because that's what they raised me to call them, you know? And now that's all I call them as. And I don't mind. That's what their names are. But Cleo's a traitor. Sometimes she calls Poppy Dad. Dad? What does that even mean? What? Just because he is our dad? That's crazy. That's like naming a dog Dog. Insane. Poppy is like a dog. No, he's a human being. He bought us almonds. Anyway, Mr. Llama 101 says, my dad listens to them. Their music typically sounds soft, ethereal, spiritual, and futuristic. Well, that's very nice. It sounds fun. Oh, some people are saying some things about Poppy Playtime. I've never played Poppy Playtime. I knew someone who was interested in it when I was a kid, but, that wasn't really a shared interest between us, so I can't... Porcelain Ghoul says, I'm not a traitor. We never even called him Poppy until you came along. He was always Dad before that. Well, that's what I'm saying, Cleo. You shouldn't have been on the wrong path to begin with, man. I was the right one the whole time. David's Entertainment says, do you watch the news? Do you follow things like politics? So, I do not watch the news. I don't watch TV at all, and I don't really watch the news online, but I do try to follow politics, but just not in a direct way. Like, I kind of have specific YouTube channels that I go to for my news intake, and sometimes random ones will talk about current events that that don't even typically talk about politics, so I don't really get my news super directly, but some things just, you hear it from the grapevine, you know? I don't know, sometimes I go through ebbs and flows and things where I I get like, yeah, Wendigo says, brother, ew, politics, bleh. I know what you mean, Wendigo, because, like, politics, I find them drastically interesting at times, but the problem is, I get burnt out, obviously. Like, I get so sick of hearing about all the suffering in the world and all of the heartless fuckers and, like, just the impossibility and logistics of all the issues, and it's like, oh man, you know, and you hate to hear about it. You hate to hear about the injustices and the climate change and, you know, the Trump administration. It's exhausting. So I get what you mean, but at the same time, I kind of have to keep up to date with some of this stuff, especially, like, some of it literally applies to me. I mean, I can't change my gender marker on my IDs and stuff, and if I'm not I feel like that was a new change. Like in the past, I might have been able to change my gender on my social security card or birth certificate, one or the other, but now I can't. Or maybe on my ID too. I gotta say, I don't really have proof for these claims, but I do know that that applies to passports. That change has been made for trans people's passports. That they can't have they can't have their passport correspond with their you know, their true gender if they're transgender. That it has to correspond with their assigned gender at birth. That's a new policy. And I don't have a passport, but I am aware of that going on, and that sucks. That's a way to, like, how will people travel, you know? That's gonna make it harder to travel. That's, like, crazy. It's crazy. Silly says emotionally draining for real. You know, Silly, for someone named Silly, you're speaking truths. You're not speaking silliness. You're talking sense. Because you're right. It is like that. It is emotionally draining. I just want to have fun and look like this, you know? I just want to look like one of these and do this shit and have a little silly stream, but, you know. And I'd like to be able to go out like this, but, like, I tone it down when I go outside sometimes. I mean, when I just take walks around the neighborhood, I'm kind of okay with looking like a freak. But if I have to go to a store, especially if I'm trying to get hired, it's like I have to hide the pride. And it's sad. Like, I mean, in general, why do we have to hide ourselves in the workplace? Like, I understand certain precautions to keep you safe. Like, don't wear something too flowy if your job requires a lot of physical activity, because then you could trip and get hurt. But, or like, you know, don't show, like, genitals, but some people are of the opinion that, female nipples should be able to be expressed in public, and I think that's, like, female nipples should be able to be, not expressed, that's the wrong word, like, uncovered, and, because, like, male nipples are okay to be shown, and women need to, or, well, women and, like, just assigned AFAB people in general, AFAB people, anyone who can lactate and has a baby, well, they should be able to, you know what I mean? Like, unlike the male nipples, AFAB nipples, they're, like, literally something that a baby needs, and if you have a baby and you're in public and the baby needs to be fed, it's like, you know what I mean? There's just a lot more reason why boobs should be able to be, you know, displayed and not have it be illegal, but I don't know. I'm not taking a hard stance on it. I can see the argument clear as day. Like, it seems unfair and it seems, like, really objectifying in an unequal way. Like, it's not fair. Tasp says, the state of the world is painful to hear about, but politics determine the future of the world too, so while you got to look after your own health first, some good people need to care about politics. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. That's how I feel. Like, there's a time for everything, and, but at the same time, sometimes you can't control whether or not you're gonna hear about current events. Sometimes current events just zap, they're in your face. You turn on your feed and, you know, Danny Gonzalez is talking about the economy. I'm exaggerating. That's never actually happened as far as I know, but, I'm exaggerating. But it is like that. Like, you go to a channel where you're like, oh, it's just gonna be a relaxing time, and then it's like, boom, reality. Oh, shit! David's Entertainment says, what is your favorite decade? The 1960s is my favorite decade, actually. I'm not dressed for it today, but sometimes I try to dress 60s inspired. The 1960s is my favorite decade. I think most of my favorite music comes from the 60s, and I find it so fascinating. I love the free love generation, the hippies and the psychedelia and everything. So wild, so strange. I think everyone back then was crazy. And I want to go, I mean, I don't actually want to go back to the 60s. Like, not actually, but I guess I want to live that psychedelic dream that they had going on in the Summer of Love, 1967, you know? I want to live that. And that's kind of what I try to do with my life, but the problem is you can't just do that shit all the time, I guess. Like, you die that way, actually. If you try to live every day like it's 1967, you'll fucking die. Yeah. The summer of 1967. You can't just live your whole life like that. You'll die. Watch out. So that's my advice. David's Entertainment says, I like 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. Yeah. I would say mine are mainly like 60s. 60s is my number one, but the 70s and 80s are also terrific. And to be honest, there are wonderful things from all sorts of decades. I also think the Victorian era was very interesting. And the 20s as well. The 1920s. So... yeah, I think every era has its own interesting, like, stories, and interesting creative movements and political movements and philosophical movements and things like that, and technological as well, technology and science, all sorts of things. It's wonderful to learn about history. Alyssa Chapman says, I like the right now because I have the rights. Absolutely, Alyssa. I know what you mean, like, when it comes to, being a person in any kind of, like, marginalized status, it's like, we can't really go back in time, like, it would be harder for us. And, yeah, going back in time when you're in a spot like that, it's like, things would be so much harder than they already are. It sucks. But, that's why it's like taking... Oh! B-Money, excuse me? With these little glasses emojis and little pointy fingers. Is it because I've got my glasses on? You're making fun of me? I can take them off, Have you never seen me with glasses before? B-Money. I can't be money, I'm a person. Gosh, that's like... Oh, I just thought of something. That's like a capitalist's, like, greatest fantasy, like, just dating someone who is money. Imagine, like a rich guy, he just makes, like, a woman out of cash. That would be funny. B-Money, what's with the little pointy index finger? What? Anyway, so, I'm having a great little time. David's Entertainment says, what is your favorite video game? Well, gosh, I mean, I love a lot of Pokemon games. I played Pokemon X, and I played Pokemon Sword, and, let's see, oh, and I played Pokemon Moon. So I've loved a lot of Pokemon games. I also really like the Fantasy Life games. So there's Fantasy Life, and then there's Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time. And the thing is, the Roman numeral I, which is 1, like, it means 1. It's strange because it's like, that's the sequel, but that's the one that has the Roman numeral that means 1. So it's like... is it a prequel? And I haven't figured that out yet, because I haven't gotten deep in the game. But anyway, I love the Fantasy Life franchise, so it's hard for me to pick an individual game. I would have to say Fantasy Life and Pokemon games are my two favorite franchises, but I also love me some Mario and some Animal Crossing. If you haven't noticed, I mostly prefer Nintendo games. Yeah, that's me. I don't know. I like Nintendo games. That's my little happy place. No, oh, and, David says, I like Crash Bandicoot. I have played The Wrath of Cortex and 12 and Warped. That's cool. I actually have never played Crash Bandicoot, but I have seen, like, images of the characters and the game, and it seems so fun. Like, it looks like a really fun game, and, I love a cartoony game, so that's cool. I wouldn't mind playing a game that's more, like, serious and, rawr. Like, I could do that. It's not like I'm, put off by things like that. But I just never have tried it, I've always been more into, like, little silly, lighthearted games. But I mean, I guess... I did play Doki Doki Literature Club when I was a tween. I did do that, and that was interesting. That was an interesting night. Sayori is best girl. Sayori, the one with like short brownish hair and like, I think she had blue eyes. She was very cute. Sayori is best girl. Mr. Llama 101 says, many of my personal favorite video games are on the PS2. Oh, nice. Is Crash Bandicoot on the PS2? I don't really know. I don't really know, guys. I mostly just have experience with Nintendo products, to be frank with you. Not because I'm like a brand fanboy or anything. I just like, I don't know, I guess they tend to be pretty well designed, but now I sound like I'm a fanboy, so never mind. Silly says, cozy games are so peak. Yes, Silly. Yes, they are. Again, you're speaking sense. You are the least silly, you're the most sensible person I've ever met. Alyssa Chapman says, I like the Dark Souls. Okay. Okay, yeah, I've heard about Dark Souls. Isn't that a hard game? Like, I've gotten the impression that the Dark Souls games are, like, really difficult, and it's hard to progress, or, like, I don't really know anything about the gameplay of Dark Souls, but I've just gotten the impression that those are a challenge, you know? And I gotta be honest with you, I'm not super good at video games. Like, it takes me time to figure things out. You know, I'm not one of those people that just breezes through it. I'm kind of slow when it comes to the video games, I guess. I don't know why. But I enjoy it, though. I don't mind it. I have a good time. I like to play a game every now and then, you know? And recently I've been playing a bit of Dragon City. You know, that's just like a mobile game where you get to, like, play with little dragons and stuff. You get to, like, hatch dragons and fight with them, like Pokemon, basically. And you can, like, change your environment. Like, you can customize the environment, kind of like with Animal Crossing, you know? So it's got gameplay mechanics that I already enjoy from other games, and that's, like, you know, but I used to play, Dragon City when I was a kid, so it's kind of a nostalgic revisitation as well. But that's a mobile game. That's for, laptops and phones. Or, I mean, that's for tablets and phones. Anyway, Mr. Llama says, yup, I've only played one of those. I think Mr. Llama says, in regards to whether or not Crash Bandicoot is on the PS2. Also, I just realized a few comments ago, I said, when I read David's comment, I said, I like Crash Bandicoot, I have played The Wrath of Cortex and 12 and Warped. I shouldn't have said 12, I should have said 1 and 2, because I think that's what David meant. I just read it wrong, so I apologize for that. Anyway, yeah, apparently Crash Bandicoot is on the PS2. I didn't know. Like, I used to be really interested in video games for a short period when I was a kid, and then my interest shifted to be more music related, so I'm mostly interested in music and fashion now, but I used to be more interested in video games. But now I'm having a slight resurgence, I guess. Alyssa Chapman says, it's not that hard, it's overblown in regards to, the Dark Souls, questions. So, I guess Dark Souls isn't that difficult. I was wrong. Has anyone here played Portal? I've always thought that Portal was interesting because I like the songs from it. I like the songs that GLaDOS sings. I've tried to cover, I've covered a few of those songs on the channel before, and I really like them, so... Has anyone played Portal? Silly says, Stardew Valley and Mario Kart are like my go-to games right now, lol. I tried Stardew Valley and it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be, to be honest with you. I was a little disappointed. My dad got that one for me, and I hate to say it, but, you know, I wanted to really enjoy it because the art style looked so cute, and it had some gameplay mechanics that I thought would be fun, but I kind of just found myself bored and understimulated and underwhelmed by the whole thing, so I don't know. It wasn't... You know, I think I do like games that have a little bit of fighting. I think what I've found is that... I think I like a game that has some fighting, but that's not all it is. Like, I want to have that option where I can just beat somebody up if I want to. Or, like, creature beat up another creature. But then, like, I don't want that to be the only thing that you do. I kind of like to have options. Like, if I want to do something peaceful, like customize a character or, decorate an area, yeah, it's like, I want to have the option either or. Um, Maybe that's why. But then Animal Crossing doesn't have any fighting, and I've enjoyed Animal Crossing quite well. But then I always try to make drama in the Animal Crossing universes. I always try to make drama. Like, I'll write little letters to my crushes, and then I'll change my mind, or I'll, like, cheat on them with other crushes. Like, you know how in Animal Crossing you can write letters to the characters? I would try to write little flirtatious letters to, like, make them fall in love with me. But then I would go behind their back and do it with other little characters. Not like real people, mind you, just like NPCs in the game. And that was my little devious plots, you know? I was evil in Animal Crossing. I was a devil. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading these now. Alyssa Chapman says, I took 80 hours to do Dark Souls 1 the first time. I am not a fast player of video games. I love it, though. Wow, okay. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, I guess I've never really recorded the hours that I spend on my games and stuff. I like Tasp says, I like Stardew Valley, Against the Storm, and Age of Wonders 4. But I also like modern board games and pen and paper role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons. That's cool. I've tried Dungeons & Dragons, and I thought it was okay. I guess, I was worried about being really good at the game, and it kind of distracted me. Like, I wanted to seem like not an idiot. When I'm in a situation like that, I'm extra self-conscious about, coming off like a dumbass, you know? If I'm new to something, so, you know, I was concerned with, like, not seeming slower than everybody else, and I think that actually, ironically, made it harder, because it was like a sort of social anxiety thing, even though I was amongst friends. So I guess, once I get over that, I'll probably be better at Dungeons & Dragons, but I haven't really had many opportunities to play it with somebody in recent times, so, you know. But there are lots of people who like Dungeons & Dragons. D&D is a very popular franchise, I've noticed. Anyway, Porcelain Ghoul says, Crash Bandicoot is like if Sonic the Hedgehog did meth. Well, I guess I'll believe you. I've never played Sonic games either, so I believe you on that one, though. I guess it's like, it's got comparable, like, dynamics, but it's, like, crazier, it's wackier. I understand what you mean. Alyssa Chapman says, I've played Portal 2, it's a fun game. Oh, cool, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, that one isn't, the thing about Portal games, they're not free, I'm pretty sure. You have to buy them on Steam. I don't have a Steam account. So, you know, and I also don't know if I could run those games on my computer, because I just have a typical laptop. It's not like a gaming PC, you know? Tasp says, I like that Portal combines stinky puzzles with the dystopian backstory. Portal is great. Haven't played it for a long time, though. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. I've gotten the impression that that's kind of, that's the main mechanics of the game, and I do enjoy a dystopian. I enjoy utopians and dystopians. I like worlds that are kind of strange and sort of like an exaggeration of our own societies that we live in, you know? I like to see things taken to the extreme. Jesus, I got infinite games but no games. Probably infinite bacon but no games, because if infinite games but no games, then that's a contradiction. But no bacon. In that case, I would probably say infinite games but no bacon, because I think that it's more enriching to play a video game than to just eat bacon. You know what I mean? I love bacon, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, well, no, under this circumstance, if I had infinite games, I would never eat bacon again. But, you know, I guess I could give up that sacrifice, because if I just cooked up some salami, like, here's a hack for you, for the folks at home. Whenever you get some salami, and you want to make it a little tastier, you can just fry that up on a pan, and then you'll have yourself some fried salami, and it tastes a lot like bacon. So, I could just do that, and then I'd be fine. So I think, not to be rude, Emilio Gonzalez, you know, much respect. But it's okay, you know. It was an interesting and thought-provoking question. David's Entertainment said, "Sorry, my phone died using my other phone." That's all right, David. The thing you really missed was when my live cut out a couple times, and that was kind of funny. But and also I talked about bacon in video games, and I sort of nitpicked someone's typing, and that was annoying. Not them, but me. I'm annoying. You know what I mean? Nitpicking, you know, like a little chicken, you know, peck, peck. That's what nitpicking sounds like to me. Like, nitpicking, if I didn't know what that term meant, I would assume that nitpicking was a term to refer to, like, when birds peck at something, you know? Like, oh, there's little Henrietta the hen. She's nitpicking at her little cornmeal today. What a good little chicken. She brings us such delicious eggs. We love Henrietta. Look at her nitpicking away. David's Entertainment says good comedian. Well, thank you. I try, I guess. I mean, if you think I'm funny, then that means so much. I like to be funny. I like funny things. So, thank you. Porcelain Ghoul says Hash Bandicoot versus Chronic the Hemphog. You should have said Hash Bandicush. Hash Bandicush versus Chronic the Hemphog. That would have been the best. But that was still a really good pun, Porcelain Ghoul, aka Cleo. I know your real name. Alyssa Chapman says, "You are indeed a funny, silly guy, Sid." Thank you. I try to be a funny, silly guy. Porcelain Ghoul said, "Damn, I fumbled." You didn't fumble. I mean, you presented most of the work. I just did a little nitpick, you know? Nitpicking at you. Beep, beep, beep. Peck, peck. Yeah. Let me think. Oh. David's Entertainment says, "When I was growing up, I used to play video games on gaming consoles nowadays. It's easier for me to now play games using digital consoles, aka emulators now." Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. They now have, like, the technology where you can play, console games on PC. And that's pretty cool. But the thing is, I've never done that because I think my PC just isn't, like, I don't think it's actually fast enough or has, like, the right screen for it, something like that, or maybe it doesn't have enough storage. I'm not quite sure what it is. Like, recently my dad tried to install something, he tried to basically do something exactly like that, because I was trying to get, the Fantasy Life sequel installed on my computer instead of on my Switch. But we couldn't do that because, like, there was some issue with downloading it onto my laptop. Like, my particular laptop wasn't capable of running it. So that was an unfortunate discovery. But it's nice that, that you've been able to make that change, David. You know, I think that's cool. Like, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do, man. You gotta play your games how you want to play. Don't let them tell you how to play your video games, you know? Ah, yes, gamers, the most oppressed minority of all. I'm just messing around. That's a meme. It's a meme reference. Y'all know anything about memes? Do you know anything about memes? They're funny. David's Entertainment says, "When I mess up, I can save load of state at any time. I can cheat, do all kinds of sorts of things that I can't do on physical consoles." Oh, and then he changed it to save. I can save load state at any time. Now I get what you mean. I'm sorry, I misread the thing. I don't think you actually changed your comment, but maybe you did. I'm not sure if you can do that on here. Can you edit your comments even in a live chat? I feel like you can't. But anyway. No, but I get what you mean. Yeah, you have more options to do kinds of tricks and, like, techniques and, like, kind of cheats and things. Does it really count as cheating? I see it more as a strategy, you know? I'm sure you see it that way too, David, and you know what? You're right. That's valid. Your your strategizing is absolutely valid, David. You know, you're not cheating on the video game. The video game was cheating on you with with uh with with no. I couldn't no. This is stupid. I'm not going to finish my thought. It was very funny. Rest assured it was funny, but I can't say it. I had secret thoughts in my secret mind. David's Entertainment says, when I mess up, I can save low... Oh, wait, I already read that. Sorry. And then Alyssa Chapman says, no, you cannot, in regards to whether or not you can edit your comments in a live chat. That makes sense, Alyssa. That makes sense, because I guess in my nitpicky ways, I have noticed a few errors in people's writings. And that totally makes sense in the context, because people are trying to kind of get in on time before somebody... It always happens. It's not even raining right now. It always happens. It's not even raining right now. It was earlier, but it's not now, so I don't really know what's wrong with the internet. But, can anyone share what they did for Pride Month, or share any, like, you know, queer, and, you know, like, what was it like coming out to people, or what did you do during Pride Month, or anything like that, you know, well, you know, how are you, like, what do you do that makes you happy and stuff, you know, share anything like that, because that is the topic, and I would like to get, a little bit more in there, before I, end the stream. I think I'm gonna end the stream in, like, I'm gonna make it end in maybe, like, about 17 minutes, because we're at 1 hour, 3 minutes now, and I want to get to, like, 1 hour, 20 minutes. I think that'll be a good time to cut it off. So, if anyone wants to share anything about if they did anything fun recently, you know, yeah. Alyssa Chapman says, stream explode. Don't say that, Alyssa. You'll make it happen in real life. God. Damn. David's Entertainment says, I have thousands of games on my channel that I play. Plus, I play those rough games that people could never beat before, like example, Mario Sunshine. Oh. See, I've never played Mario Sunshine. I didn't know that one was especially hard, but that's really cool. I think that's awesome. Oh, and I guess that's, you say your channel, that makes sense, because your name is David's Entertainment, and that would certainly be a username for someone who uploads videos rather than just, like, watching them on YouTube, you know? Because on YouTube, there's, like, a distinction between, like, the people who are video uploaders and then the people who are just, like, there's different hierarchies, you know? There's the lurkers who just watch the videos, and then above that, you've got people like me who make videos but don't make money off of them, so they're, like, quasi-YouTubers, you know? And then there's YouTubers who actually make money off of their videos. I think that's when you've achieved YouTuber status, is when you start making money off of it. And I mean, some people say that you're only a real YouTuber once that's your primary source of income. So I guess there's a bit of, you know, it's a little bit of discrepancy there. Janice Madeline Swift says, I gave lots of trans hugs. That's fantastic, Janice. I'm glad that you did, because, you know, I would love to hug you personally. You've always been so sweet. And, you know, I envy the people that get to, you know, experience your presence. I'm glad just to see you show up on the stream. It's nice to see you here, because, you've always been so friendly to me, and I really enjoy your presence, you know? Your presence is a present. In the present. I'm corny sometimes. What are you gonna do? David's Entertainment says, as well as games I never had before. It's easy for me to just go and download physical game ROMs and CDs. Yeah, that would be really cool. I guess the digital options have made it easier than ever to, like, to just, you know, have a wide variety of things. Like, that's what I've enjoyed about music. Like, on my end of interests, specifically with music, it's like, I think about how different it was back when, you know, back before the internet age, when people had to just get physical records or CDs or cassettes at various points, you know, and like things were different. Things were different. Um, and it's so convenient now that I can just like look at anything whenever I want. Um, you know, and listen to anything whenever I want without having to pay for it. It's very convenient, you know. Tasp says, walked with the Pride Parade here in town this year. I grouped up with other NB people. That's fantastic, Tasp. That's really nice. I'm glad that you got to do that. I think I remember someone talking about that. That must have been you. Someone talking about grouping up with local NBs and stuff. And I thought that's so cool. I wish that I knew of like an NB group in my area, but I don't really. Although I did recently join a Discord for trans people that live in my particular neck of the woods. So that's been nice, you know, to like kind of interact with local trans folk. That's been fun. Alyssa Chapman says, my city is weird and has pride celebrations in August. That is a little weird. I mean, but that would be a nicer time in terms of weather. I've often thought that it's kind of uncomfortable that we have to do Pride in June because the drag queens are too hot. I'm too hot as a dysphoric trans person who needs to wear layers to feel good in their body. And like, yeah, it's uncomfortable, you know. Anybody who's wearing makeup is gonna sweat it off. Anybody who's got hair that might sweat off as well. It's like, damn, they're, you know, the weather itself is homophobic. So I don't know. That's kind of how it feels. So I'm kind of jealous that you guys get to do celebrations in August. Mr. Llama says, this month I mainly uploaded many videos to my channel as well as meditated. That's fantastic, Mr. Llama. Are you LGBTQ? It's okay if you don't want to answer. If you don't want to answer, you just don't have to acknowledge that question. But, you have said, you have kind of, like, one time I said that, one time when I think it was when I made the Pride video, I was like, you should, you know, I encouraged everyone to share their experiences as queer people and stuff, and like I thought that maybe that, not that, it was something that you said that made me think that here the drag queens are not wear sun hoodies. I not wear sun hoodies. I can't. I mean, I don't wear hoodies. Like that's kind of a rule with my clothes. I know, like, it seems arbitrary, but that's like there are certain rules that I set for my fashion to make me stand out, and one of them is like no hoodies. I have 3 hoodies in my possession, and I almost never wear them. So, hoodies aren't a staple of my fashion sense. I never wear them. That's just a rule for me. I only wear other types of jackets the vast majority of the time, with very rare exceptions. David's Entertainment says, it's going out a lot. Yeah, I know, David. Should I leave? I mean, should I go? Do you think so? Is it cutting out on your end? Because I can't tell if it's cutting out. David's Entertainment says yay. I'm confused. Or is it yay because I'm back? Alyssa Chapman says it is. Okay, so... Oh, yes. Okay. Should I end the stream? If I get... It's gonna say things they don't know.